Touch mine.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Whoscussion. We're going to be doing part B. Again, we'll be doing Wormwood, the 9B Doctor,
Yes.
with Izzy and Faye, and we'll be finishing it up with the 6th Doctor story, The Doctor's Coat. Harry and Sally, Wormwood, take us through it.
All right. Yeah. So we left where we left off with the 8th Doctor, for some reason regenerating into
Nicholas
Briggs, who we'll now refer to as Doctor 9B, B for Briggs anyway. I guess the not War Doctor, War Doctor. But anyway, yes. So regenerates into that. Decides to get right out of Gallifrey because that's what he does as soon as he regenerates anywhere. He's just going to leave because why would you want to stay after that? Do you want to go out for a change, do some things? But is immediately almost hit with a big spaceship because
I want to just put in there as well. The spaceship is actually really interesting because the race that's driving that ship is the same race that the people who run the carnival from Carnival of Monsters is from.
Yes.
So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, that totally connects."
Yeah, we seem to get these random connections. When it
yeah,
comes to
a lot.
Stuff. It's almost as though we planned it, but we actually didn't. Yes. Anyway, immediately, you find out that actually, even in the next panel, you find out that that ship was actually going to explode, and kind of almost wrecks them. So they quickly emergency land in Wormwood, which apparently is a 60s?
1880s.
That's 1880s. That's why I was going like 80s. What? Yeah, 1880s. Wild West town. That's on the moon. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
And everybody talks like a cowboy.
Yeah, and everyone's a cowboy. So it's like proper 1880s on the moon. And it's the Threshold. Because who would have, why wouldn't it be? Come on, really?
Exactly.
Yeah. So immediately, you get that weird, like, dotty thing going on in their faces, which actually gets explained in the story as well, which is quite interesting. We'll get to that. So immediately, the TARDIS warps away, and the Threshold's like, "Hey, we need that." And he's all like, "Well, TARDIS actually doesn't want to hang around with you guys anymore. You're kind of annoying." So that goes away. Then the Threshold teleport away Faye and Izzy, and 9B is left here talking with Threshold, and this particular guy, Abraham White, who does not seem to be a Threshold because he does not do the thing with his face. He just seems to be like a normal person smoking a cigar, flying on a flying Ford Model T.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah, on the moon as well. Such a ridiculous story. But also on the moon is not just this town, but apparently the Empire State's building, the Hollywood sign, Stonehenge, some Easter Island heads, just a bunch of random things are on the moon as well. Yeah, there's a joke later on about how like the Threshold had got there first before humans even did, and they were laughing about the giant leap for mankind. Which is also hilarious. Think about that, the fact that the silence were totally there, and but yeah, anyway. Just a whole lot of exposition happens in the story, basically. Yeah. They're sort of explaining what the Threshold is actually doing a lot of the way, and the fact that Faye was actually like implanted with some some device that was allowing them to read her thoughts and allow her to read the TARDIS manual and all that sort of stuff. And immediately after taking this out of her brain, she sort of breaks free and immediately starts beating on all of the threshold.
I love Faye.
She's so good. She just starts beating them all up. I'm like, really?
She's the female Ian Chesterton.
She is. She really is. She's the incarnation, the next regeneration of Ian Chesterton. So she steals herself a threshold ring. She jumps to where the Doctor is, starts beating on Abraham White, and then he turns into the alien, the xenomorph.
Yeah, basically.
He turns into
basically a xenomorph.
a black xenomorph, which apparently seems to be the thing that is the threshold. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's some weird things going on here. Immediately it's explained that she is like the previous Shade.
Yeah. So previous weapon of Rassilon.
Yep. Previous weapon of Rassilon that was beaten up.
Bloody Rassilon, eh?
Left for dead. And this guy found her as she was like dying. And allowed her to be absorbed into himself. And using her knowledge of stuff and his own cunning, they basically...
You know what's just blowing my mind?
What?
Zagreus does the same thing to the Doctor, and Zagreus is a weapon of Rassilon.
Yeah. Rassilon just creates lots of weapons. That just
Holy crap, this is blowing my mind.
Just Rassilon, man. Just goddamn Rassilon.
Rassilon.
Anyway... using Abraham White, she basically has a whole bunch of children, which all are like little balls.
Yeah.
And as she multiplies them, they arrange them in like a grid pattern in a dimensional void, which ends up creating the threshold people. That's why they have this weird pattern on their face, because they are just small little balls hovering in the void.
Yep, it's crazy.
It's so good though. It's like I'm just like okay. So when I'm first seeing the threshold in the comic book form, I'm like, okay, so they've drawn this like that because they're not properly visible people. Like
Yeah,
they're
the outline people.
Yeah, like outline people. That's what I'm sort of imagining. They're sort of see through in a kind of way that doesn't. I just imagine them being like murky, human shaped things. That was the idea that I got from them being this dotted thing. But then them explaining that the reason why they're dotty is because they're actually made out of tiny spheres. It's so mind breaking when it comes to a comic book. It's just it really messed with me when I was looking at them. Yeah. Anyway, past explaining this, Izzy was left behind when Faye decided to make a break for it, and she was trying to sneak around and gets. Effectively, I guess she figures out that she's been kidnapped by some female threshold, just as something really bad goes down. The Eye of Disharmony.
Yeah, the Eye of Disharmony.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting thing. It's like this upside down pyramid with a big eye on it. It's quite cool, actually. Looks really devious.
I placed my card in defense mode.
Yeah. It actually looks like the Pyramid of Light-esque stuff. Like in reverse of the Pyramid of... Yeah, anyway. So, that happens. Just as this bad thing goes down, she gets kidnapped by this female threshold. This Eye of Disharmony goes off and destroys outer space, is what he says.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what he means is that the gap between planets.
Yeah, or because they even explain that they filled the vacuum.
Yeah, they
The
filled
whole
the
vacuum
vacuum
gets filled.
with something that cannot be passed by ordinary matter. Yeah. Not good. Not a
No.
good thing there. Yeah, and then basically it's explained shortly after that is that the reason why they did this is so that they can sell their ability to travel instantaneously across the universe through the thresholds,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, like a really interesting business model. And I don't often see that like the aliens that manage to overpower the Doctor have that sort of thing in mind. Normally, the big deal aliens that want that are doing real devious things in the background. Normally, their deal is wanting to kill everything or destroy everything, rather than holding the universe at ransom.
Yeah. It's
Which
it's
just
pretty.
seems very
It's good to not have the threshold arc because it's been an arc right up until now. It's good to not have it be like something that dumb where it's just like I'm evil.
yeah, and something actually about them that's actually what they wanted to do. But yeah, the Doctor 9B is immediately faced with the real reason why they brought him over, is because they would like to extract the ability that he has to understand and speak all languages, which is given to him by the TARDIS, of course. But he immediately makes the point out that this nun that's around, what's her face? Can't remember her
Chastity.
name.
She was from the
Chastity.
comic book story Fire and Brimstone.
Yeah, so she was in the thing. She, during Fire and Brimstone, she was holding the box that held the Seal of Rassilon on it, and seeing the light that comes out of it made her have that same ability. So the
It
Doctor,
also made her old.
and it made her old as well,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But yeah, it he goes ahead and tells them this, and they do it to her
Yeah.
instead and suck her brain dry. Quite interesting. Yeah, and from there, they managed to they do this broadcast with Abraham White talking to the entire universe, and basically doing it just this like middle of the day infomercial thing.
That's so great.
Where he's explaining like, oh, everything is so great if you just use the threshold. Yeah.
And the great thing is because he still speaks like he's from, the Midwest America, 1980s. 1880s. He's still speaking with all that slang. It's so great. Because I hear him, Albie, you need a way to travel around the universe?
So good. So good. Yeah. So then, shortly after that, Threshold shows up with good old Izzy, and the alien inside of Abraham's mind instantly recognizes that the threshold that has Izzy is not actually a threshold, and then it reveals that that's the Eighth Doctor.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Paul McGann is back.
So yeah, basically saying, "Hey, I didn't regenerate," and then they're like, "Hey, but we've got this other doctor," and then he's like, pulls out his toothbrush, and Faye's are like, "Hey, you're pointing a toothbrush at them. That's not going to help you." And then Shades are like, "Hey, I'm actually the Eighth Doctor. Well, I'm the 9B Doctor, and I'm actually shooting a gun." Yes, that's a thing that happens. Anyway, the alien that's in Abraham White is not particularly happy. Well, I guess is kind of particularly happy to see Shade, because he's the successor for her. I mean, they have a little fight immediately. The Doctor's trying to.
That fight is so anime-esque.
It is really good. as
They
well.
have
Yeah.
like a huge manga-style fight. It's awesome. He gets thrown through the Statue of Liberty.
He does, doesn't he? That's like the whole reason why that was there. All that stuff was just so that they could throw it around and get fought through it. Yeah, he absolutely gets thrown into the Statue of Liberty and a
It's
bunch
so
of other
badass.
things. Yeah, and then she cracks him. Yeah, she cracks him.
She sure
Cracks
does.
him like an egg, which is kind of a sad thing, I guess. But then we figure out that the Doctor's totally got a plan. Explains to Faye that he totally knew that she was being controlled somehow, or at least like had things in her brain, and that's why he let Shade fake regeneration into 9B, and then the big alien like steals the TARDIS, like Godzilla-esque, like
It's so funny. Like picks it up and puts it underneath his arm, and is just like,
Yeah.
"I've got the TARDIS now. Goodbye."
Bye. Yeah. And then walks away with it, and basically reveals that her big thing. I guess that's kind of it. Is that she's like the bad one of this, because her idea for the Eye of Disharmony is, once she's got the ability to go across time, she's going to use all of the threshold power to destroy all time and space.
Yeah, she's doing the Davros thing.
Yeah. Which I guess is, I don't know. It's a Rassilon thing, I guess. Just that's sort of a thing that happens. If you get scorned by a Rassilon in some way, for some reason that turns you crazy enough to destroy all of reality. But I guess it's kind of fair, because I mean, if you want to really like take it out on Rassilon, you've got to take it out on the things that he's made. And considering he made all of time and space a thing, probably the reason why they've got that in their head.
Yeah.
I just guess. But then, of course, Abraham White is greedy enough that he's just like, you know what? I don't actually want this, and breaks away from her. I want a divorce, is what he says, which is it's really quite funny.
Well, I suppose it works because they were both parents for the whole Threshold race, so it's kind of a divorce.
They were kind of like having that sort of deal with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny that, and then like split out of her and like this icky mess. And then the Doctor like taunts her, no, and then runs away. She's chasing him, giving enough time for Izzy to go ahead and baseball bat the the Eye of Disharmony.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because the device she hits looks like Rassilon's star, which is what controls the Eye of Harmony on Gallifrey. I was like, oh, that's real cool.
Then they have that well, I guess that's the idea, is that it's the splitting reverse of the Eye of Harmony. So yeah, I guess. And then Faye shows up, and she's dressed as Shade. It looks like she's gone ahead and merged with Shade in the same way that that this other alien merged with Abraham.
Biomerged as evolution.
Yeah, but of
90s reference, everybody. 90s reference. Throwing it out there.
I just thinking like the group Digivolve.
Yeah.
With the Digidestin to get together. Yeah, anyway. And with this newfound power of Faye's badassery and Shade's just general power, totally defeats this big alien. And then they go ahead and threshold with the last amount of power back to the TARDIS and escape. And then Abraham is all like, I never liked you. And
he even cusses.
Yeah, he does.
He actually cusses. I was like, very brave.
Yeah. And then they blow up the moon. Apparently killing that alien that was in it. But, retconned.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, God, I hate Series 8 so much. Oh, that Dragon Moon episode. Oh my God. Well, yes. Again, with this story, like every comic book story we go over, you can pick up on Comixology and Comic Books Unlimited, both apps for your phone and their browser-based for PC as well. So go ahead, pick them up. I think they're like $3 a pop, or not even that. So definitely give it a look. You can pick up this entire anthology on Amazon from Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. This anthology is called Endgame, Doctor Who Volume 1. Comes with all the stories we've talked about so far. And so with that, we'll move into our last story for this week, The Doctor's Coat, the sixth Doctor short story. Short trip, rather. So this story is interesting because for many fans, the Sixth Doctor's coat is a point of contention in the fandom. Some people were like they should have gone with the original blue coat that he was shown in promotional footage with. But I like the silly rainbow coat. It's just kind of dopey, and it completely juxtaposes the Sixth Doctor's character because the Sixth Doctor is kind of a dick.
Mostly.
Yeah, and like whereas like his costume shows him as being like this flamboyant happy dude. I'm like, you're really not that, Six. Not to jab at Colin Bacon at all. I thoroughly enjoy the Sixth Doctor, as I enjoy all the Doctors, except for 10. It's just it's kind of silly. But this story is great. It's kind of poking fun at the whole fandom and his coat. He's landed on a planet where the inhabitants they shed their shell. So I'm guessing they're turtle in some sort of strange turtle in some way.
Well, they seem to be like hermit crabby.
Yeah, they're like a hermit crab. So the Doctor,
I guess they're crabby, sort of like the what's it called? The crab people. What are they called again? No.
Oh, the macro.
That's the one.
The macro.
I kind of imagine them being like macro.
I could see that.
But like
the hermit crab version.
But like with a shell that comes on and off.
Yeah, I can get behind that. What's interesting to note about these this race of beings is they're super nerdy. They're into like pop culture and geekdom. It's so great. I was like, this is totally a poke as us as fans. And the Doctor's taken off his coat. And he pops his coat down while he's at a bar being served, and he finds his coat's gone missing. Another thing I love is as the barman or the waiter that's serving him at this bar is so apathetic. Like he just doesn't care. Like,
yep. And he's got like this weird like Scottish accent as well.
Yeah, he doesn't care. The Doctor's like, "Oh, did you see my coat?" He's like, "I don't care." And the Doctor's like, "Oh, I really need it. It's got the keys to my vehicle." And he's like, "Whatever, it's not our problem." Like, the bar is not responsible for what's happened. But the Doctor walks around and he ends up seeing a young man in a comic book shop, or one of these aliens, a young alien man in a comic book shop, and he's wearing the Doctor's coat, and I can just see it, like the scrawny little alien who thinks he's cool as like wearing the Doctor's coat. Because on their planet, as we've just spoken before, they're like hermit crabs in a way. They have to wear a shell, and he's trying to be a man. He's trying to show how manly he is by wearing the Doctor's coat, and it's so amazing because I can imagine like he's sort of a dweeb and he wants to like impress people, so he steals this flamboyant ass rainbow coat, and he's like, "It's my shell.
It's my shell.
It's my
this
shell.
Is my shell. You left it."
And he actually talks like that. Voice. It's so great. It's like, "It's mine. You left it, and you took it off, so it's mine now. It's the law, you know." And apparently for these people, it is the law. And the Doctor's like, "I didn't realize that was your law, so can I have it back?" He's like, "No." And the Doctor's like, "I tell you what, I'll leave you the salt, which is their currency. Mm-hmm. I'll leave the salt with you if you just give me the shell." He's like, "No." So the Doctor's like, "All right, give me the key, and I'll just leave it with you." And so he takes the TARDIS key, and he basically walks off because he says that he's got two of the exact same of that coat. Which, why would he have more than one of that thing? It's a train wreck. It's like
I imagine that. Actually, I can absolutely guarantee that every single version of the Doctor would have had at least two. Except, I imagine that the 10th Doctor did not have two of the same outfit. That's why he switched colours sometimes.
Yes, definitely he switched it up. You're even wearing the same clothes. Don't you ever change? But it's just great because like the Doctor's trying to coerce the shell back off the dweeby kid. And the dweeby kid's like, he's so stubborn because he wants to show everybody he's cool. You know, he got a shell before probably his friends, I'm guessing. And so, and I you know that from experience as a person. I love when Doctor Who does that. It echoes real life in a way. And you've got this dweeby kid, and like everybody knew that dweeby kid who wanted to fit in. And some of us might have even been that kid. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to fit in. It's human nature. And for them to have this character who's like, he wants to fit in so bad that he's taken the Doctor's terrible coat. It's so bad. He's taken it, and it's showing how manly he is to his people. And to his people, it probably would be a sign of manhood because he's got a shell. I've got a shell.
And also, especially considering that most crustaceans, their general idea of wooing the opposite sex is to be extremely attractive to the eye, and just generally being like a really intrusive to the eye. And seeing a rainbow coat or a rainbow shell on this would probably get him all of the ladies.
Yeah,
I imagine every single
pulling.
one of them. Yeah.
and I love that you say that because, like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but seeing a hermit crab walking around with a cannon.
Oh yeah.
they think they're so cool when they're wearing their can as well. I'm like totally against pollution, but I'm not going to take the can off the crab because he probably thinks it's the coolest thing he's ever seen in his life. It's just so funny that crabs do that. Like, he's probably like, "Hey, lady, look at my can. Oh wow, where'd you get that?
I'm shiny.
I got off the back of a pack and saved truck." Yeah. So it's beautiful. I love the story. I love that kid because, like, he's the kid in all of us. He's a prepubescent teen who's trying to show he's an adult, and it's great. It's perfect. It's a nice little ribbon story here, and I love how Six is just like, and he like reminisces and he's thinking about why in the heck did he want that coat back? Because he's got some more, and he's thinking about because at this point Six is alone. I'm guessing it's before he meets Mel. And he's just thinking about, losing people sucks, and for him the coat was like a part of his identity. So there's a lot of things they hint at in the story. And the short trips are great. They're like 12 to 17 minutes long, and they talk about like actual life problems that like normal Doctor Who doesn't really tackle that often. It's great. I think it's a perfect little short trip.
That's just the way the format really works for them, I guess. It's just that instead of having to like play out a whole like story where they have to have a conclusion to an idea, having a short story means that they don't have to conclude any of these ideas. They can just bring them up. Yeah, which is kind of it's the beauty of a short story, is to point at things without giving a resolution. I would hazard, I guess as a teen, I thought that that short stories were lesser in that respect, where the artist or the writer that wrote the short stories didn't have to think very much about it. But I think that it's I guess I was very wrong, honestly. That short stories have
we all were as teens.
A lot. Yeah, they have a lot more than a long story can ever really give you, because they inspire these questions in you. They don't have all the answers for you. They want you to think. They don't leave you with a wrapped up nice little bow most of the time. So
yeah, definitely. We've seen that a lot through going through Volume 1, and now we're halfway through Volume 2. It's definitely true that they can explore ideas that modern Who I don't think would be able to in the long term format, because they have to have the evil bad guy that they fight basically. Whereas in the short stories, it's just like random, like millisecond looks at the Doctor's like everyday life when he's not fighting aliens. So it's great. I definitely suggest people listen to this again. It's for free on the Big Finish SoundCloud, which will be on the link there. But I do suggest people pick up the box sets from Big Finish. Getting them digitally, you can get all the box sets digitally from Big Finish. It comes with extra features and talking with the cast and the writers. It's always great to listen to those things and get more out of your Doctor Who experience. I suppose with that's us for this week. Anything you want to add, Harry Skelly?
No, that about covers it for this week.
Alrighty, awesome. Just before we go, actually, the Carnival of Monsters actually reminded me of something. The third Doctor brings up in Carnival of Monsters about being a tiger in a cage.
Ah, yes, he does bring that up.
I was like, holy crap, Big Finish.
Yeah, when he brought up being in a zoo and being poked and prodded, hey, jump. Yeah, and Big Finish, it's like, hey,
Big Finish
we
took
did
that one sentence.
Yep,
it's amazing.
Of course, they put it in with Liz Shaw. That's why.
Yeah, well, because it makes a lot of sense too. Because like he's referencing this as like a past tense sort of situation for him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's good because Liz did it. And I was like, big finish. Just how do you do it? How do you do it? You actually handle it better than the showrunners of the television series. There, I said it. I said it. Gary Russell and Nick Briggs, hashtag should be the showrunners. Alrighty. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.